Are we recording now?
We're recording now. This is attempt number 4.
One second. Rewind a moment here, Nick. Tell people how stupid you are.
So we've recorded one section, which was recorded, but we were both muted. And then we've recorded...
Whoa. We recorded. You recorded.
Okay. Hands up. Made a mistake. I've recorded a section with both of us muted. We then realised, so we go to re-record, and I unmute us, but I don't hit the record button.
We. Don't use we when you make a mistake, but I when like...
Hi, and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and I am joined by Cardboard Chris.
Well, I mean, who knows? Are we being recorded?
We are being recorded. Chris is a real boy. And
people definitely wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about because that was not recorded 2 not recorded episodes ago.
Yes, 2 unrecorded episodes ago. We are here for the 3rd time making this video about Cardano's ADA and why you should buy and hold at least 10,000, at least in our humble opinions. Right, Chris?
Unscripted.
Recorded. Unrecorded.
Recorded.
And muted for everyone's pleasure. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking Cardano. We're going to be talking about ADA specifically and why buying and holding might be life-changing for many. So as we get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. If you appreciate the outtakes towards the end of the video, then smash that like button. We really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not consider subscribing, tapping the bell, selecting all the notifications, and in doing so, you will stay up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And Chris, don't you think people should join us in Discord?
Look, I think people should join us in Discord. I think they should record a video muted and post it there, just so I have vivid memories of like this recording session that I've had with Nick today. So yeah, look, the link is in the description. There's over 6,500 people in there supporting one another, navigate this space safely. It is literally the best hidden secret in all of crypto. It's a fantastic community. Get your asses down there. Waste no time. You're missing out.
Absolutely. Right, let's jump down into the world of Cardano by coming down here to the desktop of Cardano.
Is it actually a desktop? Is it live?
It's live. You can't see it, but there's a desktop. There's an image of the website behind us. It's all good. It's all gravy. We are fantastic. So, Cardano ADA. Why do we think, Chris, that holding at least 10,000? Because, 10,000 is just a number drawn in the sand, essentially, right? 10,000. Some people may have more. Some people may have less. But let's talk about why 10,000 is quite a meaningful number.
Yeah, so for me, why is it a meaningful number? I think really because I think that it's attainable for many. Now, there will be people that can go out there and just buy 10,000 right now, right? And I'm not really sort of talking about those individuals. I'm talking about the individuals that work in the 9 to 5, perhaps don't have that much surplus money each month, but are doing better than the majority, right? Because there's a lot of people working paycheck to paycheck. So you're in a better position than those, but you're able to, in my opinion, the majority of people will be able to strive to over time dollar cost average and get 10,000 ADA. And I think 10,000 ADA would be a life-changing number long term, talking 2030 outwards. I think that's going to be very, very big numbers when it comes to Cardano in the future. And yeah, I don't know if you want me to sort of go into why I think Cardano is positioned this way.
Yeah, I mean, we can do. I just had flashbacks of Trump there. I think it's going to be a very, 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 very big. It's big. Like, Cardano's big. It's massive. Cardano, it's the biggest blockchain out there. It's big. It's massive.
Huge.
Right, that kind of thing. No, we should probably talk about, some of the fundamental things, right? We talk a lot on this channel about Cardano, despite what a few of the odd and strange comments that you see on the channel.
That comment was hilarious. You need to stop being a hater, Nick, and be more open-minded.
I do. I need to stop fudding on Cardano, apparently.
Charles would have had a lot to say about that when we last sat down with him, though, if you were hating on Cardano.
Cardano is my biggest holding in my portfolio. So rocking 21%. But Chris, what's yours? Because I know it's significantly higher.
So last time I put it out, it was 38% of my portfolio.
See, you need to get that under control.
I didn't mean to get to that point. And it's a big portfolio, right? Like it's a big portfolio with many different projects in there. But yeah, maybe I got a little bit carried away.
I think you did. But let's talk about why, right? So Cardano, we've talked about a lot of different things when it comes to the blockchain, why it's peer reviewed, the kind of approach they have, talking about all the rollouts and the various different things that have happened in 2021 and 2022. But yeah, some really cool stuff that has happened and that is still on that journey, right? We're still on that journey of kind of development. And AI is a buzzword that's been thrown around a lot, but Cardano has been on this journey of AI since 2021 with no other than SingularityNET. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, like I'd say pretty well connected with many of the different projects out there. And, an umbrella of projects would be SingularityNET, right? We've been big fans. One of our missions, I guess, goals when we set up the channel was to interview Dr. 𝗕𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗪, and we've been fortunate enough to get him on the channel, and more fortunate enough to go meet him in person and interview him in London, which was fantastic. And look, I think the SingularityNET or Singularity umbrella of projects are going to be the leaders in that space. And look, I think Cardano is going to be that ecosystem of choice for artificial intelligence and machine learning. You can see this with the fact that SingularityNET, going on to the Cardano ecosystem, along with like NewNet, SDAO, and Hypercycle, which many people won't even have heard of just yet. And this is why you need to be in the Discord, right? Because we just recently did a seed round with 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗪 for Hypercycle, which is a layer 2 sidechain for Cardano, which is to help scale the Cardano ecosystem for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And this is the point that Nick and myself have been making for many years now around SingularityNET. We do think they are going to be the leaders in the space, and they're a project to be looking at and researching, and their white paper is a really interesting and long read. So definitely dig into that if you've got the time and the will to get through that one. But so yeah, I think AI is going to be massive on Cardano. We've got a seed round for 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗃𝗪 coming up in the Discord within the next week or so. So yeah, look, there's a lot going on, and I'm really excited about everything Cardano. I think why do I believe that 10,000 ADA is going to do, going to be life changing, I guess, is purely because I think that now Cardano's got smart contracts. They are positioning themselves really well for the next bull run. They've got 𝗕𝗃 gone live, stablecoin, and that means for me that DeFi is gonna pop on the Cardano ecosystem and do really, really well. I just think there's an awful lot more to Cardano than a lot of people kind of give credit, and you see lots of FUD and misinformation. I think Cardano has had a longer adoption curve than other projects because of the programming language and the fact that developers are going to have to learn a new language. But even that's something that the Cardano team have been working on, with making it more accessible to other programming languages and stuff like that. So positioning wise, I think they're doing really, really well, and I do expect big things from Cardano. And I think this bear market is the big opportunity for this particular project. I think that it's like I say, all the stars are aligning nicely.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about the fundamentals, right? The fact that Singularity as a family decided that they were going to migrate from Ethereum to Cardano, then obviously building a side chain that's ledgerless is going to help really scale the AI processes on the Cardano ecosystem. But I like to think about Hypercycle. Yes, it's going to be for AI purposes, but with all the AI on the ecosystem, what else can be built on Cardano that can utilize the AI and all these other kind of things? Yeah. Then, of course, Midnight layers in as well, right? And that's going to be critically important in the future.
I think with Midnight, obviously being a masking, unmasking privacy project, like, again, another reason why I think Cardano is going to do really well. How does that work with perhaps a ledgerless sidechain like Hypercycle, for example? I just think there's so many possibilities.
There are. Now, let's talk about that 10,000 ADA, right? And obviously, the price today, at the point of recording this video, is 38 cents. We've seen it as low as 23 cents recently. I do think a pullback is inevitable. I think we're going to see lower prices still. So, slowly dollar cost averaging in is going to be an interesting idea, and it allows you to kind of build that position. But what about the future price of ADA? Like, where do you think it's going to go, Chris? How high do you think, in the next bull market, ADA can push? How high do you think that price is going to go?
I think, that's a finger in the air from a fundamental viewpoint, kind of, answer really. And I'm going to go with, I don't really know where it's going to go. I'd like to think somewhere around the $7 sort of region. But a lot of this is really dependent on, the projects that go on the ecosystem. Like I said, it's been a slower adoption curve than other projects, and I think I've given a very valid reason as to why that would be. So yeah, I'm sort of hovering around the $7 mark. I think it's, a really achievable number. I think it got above $3, previous cycle, without the advancements that it's had since then. So what I'm trying to poorly articulate here is I think it's a better project now, technically, than it was back then. So I think that it can do far better and get much more adoption.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we take a look at the chart, right, and I don't think you're too far off with the whole $7 thing. Like, I know a lot of people will say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100, right? All those things will come eventually in time. But if we're realistic about it, we can kind of make some assertions over the price action on the chart so far, right? The history here tells us a specific trading behavior using Elliott wave theory, and then that helps us understand where we think things are potentially likely to go. So let's kind of take a look at this, right? We'll grab our fibs and we're just going to run this from the bottom to the top, from top to bottom here, right? So we can see that we got to $3.10 on the chart here. This is a Cardano ADA USDT pair daily chart, Binance as a data source, right? We can see that we came down to the 23 cent area. And I just highlighted this yellow box. Now this yellow box is basically 15.3 to 23.7, right? This is the area that I think we're going to have to revisit into before we can kind of really move on up, right? And there's not a guarantee. It's just an area that I think is interesting. We can see that we came down right here onto the 50% retracement level. Okay, and I think a retest of this area is more likely than not. But even if we don't come all the way back down here, we're still going to have some fantastic dollar cost averaging opportunities, specifically around the 30-cent level, which is historically a really good, strong support level for ADA. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the existing low. We'll just assume that is the bottom, and we'll go ahead and move our fibs over to it, just over here. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll zoom in just to make sure that we get this as accurate as we can, which actually I've eyeballed that very, very well because it is right on there. The low that I'm looking for here is 23.92. We have this at 23.89. So I'm just going to adjust this up just a fraction here, he says, if I can grab it and see if I can move that, which is not moving. Can I? No, I'm going to have to eyeball it again. 90. We'll leave it there. Okay. So as I kind of scale this down here, we can see some key fib levels, right, all the way up towards a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, a 1-to-1 ratio is unlikely, but it's not impossible, right? These things can happen depending on various different structures that emerge and all that kind of stuff. But in this particular case, I wouldn't say that $41 is a high probability scenario. Instead, I would say that there's some key fib areas on the journey to the upside that we should potentially really consider as major resistances. And these are going to be the 0.618 fib levels, the 0.702 fib level, and the 0.786 fib level. The 702 is a manual add. It's not a part of your default settings, but the Bitcoin chart loves to react to the 702 when you draw it onto your fibs. So what I do is I add that in there. We can kind of see this yellow box area between $5.83 and $13.88. I would say those are more probable than going up to $41, but it gives us a bit of an idea, right? If we were to hold 10,000 ADA and we were to think about going up to $5.83 or potentially even $13.88 or somewhere in between, maybe you do go for the nice round number of $10, for example, then, well, that 10,000 ADA has multiplied dramatically, right? And so when we say it's life-changing, I think it is a life-changing amount of money for the kind of everyday person who does 9 to 5, who's been able to kind of, put a little bit of savings, dollar cost averaging into ADA, has accumulated 10,000 ADA. To see that kind of, multiply in that way, I think is an incredibly powerful thing. But what's your thoughts on it, Chris? I mean, we're talking potentially upwards of 20 to 25x, something like that.
Yeah, look, I think it's realistic, but obviously we're not financial advisors, so take it with a pinch of salt, go do your research and see whether the project resonates with you. But it's not financial advice. But I think you just have to look at some of the other projects. Look at Solana, for example, and various other projects that AVAX. These projects that went on to do really, really well. It's really about the adoption aspect of things, and that ecosystem. And the Cardano ecosystem has a really big community and a strong community, and I think for that reason the adoption will be there. And I like what the leadership team are doing, and I just think that it's sat up and positioned very, very well. There are other projects, and we'll probably do videos on those as well. But for me, it's positioned. There's a reason why it's the biggest position in my portfolio. Very similar to VeChain last time round in the last bull run, would being my biggest position. It's not far off the biggest one, but Cardano is right up there at the moment.
Excellent. So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Are you accumulating ADA? Do you think the price expectation of ADA that we've spoken about in this video is aligned to your personal thinking? Do you think more? Do you think less? Let us know. Really interested to kind of canvass the community's opinions. If you found it useful, informative, maybe even entertaining at times, smash that like button. We do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and don't forget to join us down in Discord. Guys, until the next one, have a fantastic day.
Yeah, take care.
Anyway, let's...
Are you sure this is being recorded this time?
Yes, it's being recorded. I can see now that it is being recorded, and I have everything.
Get this, everyone. It was my fault that it wasn't being recorded because Nick couldn't see the screen because I'm on a video call with him where he's put it over the top of the recording software. It's my fault.
It's Chris's fault. And
On
that note, and I'm glad we all established that this is going to go in the back end of the video. You know what to do. Light up the comment section with it's Chris's fault. And on that note, let's get into the video, shall we?
Yeah, at last.